Welcome, Bills Mafia, to Bills or Bust, the podcast dedicated to all things Buffalo Bills. I'm Tom Murphy. Join in as we talk about the Buffalo Bills, of course, and also the other 31 teams in the league that will watch us win the Super Bowl or bust. Hey. Welcome, Bills Mafia, to another episode of Bills or Bust. I'm Tom Murphy, and back by popular demand, overwhelming demand, is my good buddy, the star of Gnawbone Creek, Matthew Flynn.
Oh, back again, man. You can't get rid of me. I'm going to stick around.
Know. Exactly. We're hoping to have you, as long as your schedule will allow us to have you on very often here coming up in the summer and beyond.
Let's talk, man. Make a Bills fan out of me. Come on.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's, that's the whole point of this podcast. It's not to reach out to Bills fan. It's to turn you into one.
Conversion. It's a conversion pod. Just dunk me in the pool, hold my nose and tilt me back. Get me in the water.
Oh, absolutely, man. And I do have to mention, you just came back from Las Vegas. And
you do have to mention that for many reasons.
Oh, absolutely. I know you were a little late in putting your bet on Arkansas to win it all.
Oh.
It's a good thing you were just a little late on that.
I like the value of it. Okay, at the time, Elite Eight, they'd come off a big win. It was like plus 3,000, and I'm like, hey, that's a good value. But I'm glad I didn't make it. UConn waxed that ass.
Oh yeah, and I think they're gonna wax some more ass tonight. And,
it sounds like it. So we know when we're recording now. It's the championship finals are tonight.
Absolutely, yeah. And me saying that because I'm like, there's no way UConn can lose this. They've just kicked the piss out of every team they've played. And I did not have one correct team in my Elite Eight, so I am probably dead wrong about this.
Not UConn, really?
Oh, yeah.
I would have taken Arkansas for the Elite Eight just because the expectations were so high going into the year, and I'm like, why not? Let's see what they can do.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I didn't have UConn. I had Kansas going to the Elite Eight, who lost to Arkansas. Yeah,
but that's fair. That's a fair pick, but it's also a fucking homer pick for you, for people who don't know you. You're a diehard Jayhawks fan. Why wouldn't you?
I definitely am. I never, except for last year, because I had a feeling about them. I usually don't pick them to win it all because I kind of like, once my team is out, it's like, I still have the Jayhawks at least. And I can be a purist. But along from your saved bets that you did, you saw Foreigner live.
Oh my God, did I ever? And apparently it was part of their farewell tour, which was unannounced at the time. And I'd seen them once before. But when I saw them before, it was in one of those waterfront amphitheater monsters. And it was just like, it might as well have been a stadium. They were just jamming. So much energy, so much fun. And this was a different beast. It was intimate. It was in the Venetian Theater. Very small.
Yeah. It seemed like a small venue from what I saw on your IG stories.
Gorgeous. Yeah, gorgeous small venue. It was one of those things too where we were in the second tier. It wasn't quite the balcony. It was kind of the mezz a little bit, but it was really low to the ground, close to the orchestra. And I mean, I think the mean age was probably like 64, right? I was a puppy in that crowd. And I'm absolutely. A giant. I'm a fucking giraffe. I'm 6'4", and I'm just sitting in these chairs going, I really hope we're going to stand during this because I don't want to sit down and watch Foreigner. Sadly, most people in my section did, but the moment feels like the first time came on. Woo!
Oh, yeah.
The giraffe was out of the zoo, baby. I mean, I was up, I was grooving and teary-eyed as all hell during Jukebox Hero, but especially I Want to Know What Love Is crushes my soul.
Oh, absolutely. No, I mean, and it's funny. I'm a big fan of Foreigner myself. You didn't mention, I'm hoping they played one of my favorites, Blue Morning, Blue Day.
No, they didn't.
Oh, they didn't.
No.
It's one of their, I mean, it's a hit for them, but it's definitely not what people think of when they think Foreigner. And I think it's after, obviously, I'm a hopeless romantic, just like you. So I Want to Know What Love Is. It's definitely one of those that, I listen to in the quiet, in the dark. But no, Blue Morning, Blue Day, that's what I listen to when I want to rock out.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, feels like the first time reminds me of, I grew up a Yankee fan. And I remember in my lifetime, the Yankees' first ever playoff appearance, they were up 2-0 to Seattle in the best of 5 series. and Seattle came back and won it 3-2 in like the bottom of the 10th, back when like Yankees were starting Randy Johnson in the bottom of the, not Randy Johnson, Jack McDowell. I'm way ahead of myself there. Jack McDowell, and the Mariners brought in Randy Johnson as like relief, just to like, both these teams wanted it. And when Seattle won it, the entire crowd was up on its feet singing "Feels Like the First Time." So that's all I think about when I hear that song.
That's
it is
great.
a great
That's
song.
Probably the first time I really grew to love the Seattle Mariners. I remember that well.
Oh yes, we have different memories of that time. Remember, I was a Yankee fan in the mid '90s, living in Milton, Massachusetts.
Yeah, by choice, just an antagonist at birth, baby.
Oh yes, no, my mom definitely wanted me to know pain and torture. So she's like, "You want to know something? You like the Yankees? We're moving you to suburban Boston."
There we go. Game on. So Foreigner, prior to it, I had gone with a buddy. He took me for a birthday trip, which was really, really cool. And we had a great time. But prior, he'd gotten the slot bug. And I don't love slot machines, but I'll throw 100 in. And if it goes up 50, I'm out. Right. Mm-hmm. So I threw 100 in. It did not go up 50. But he's got the bug. And all of a sudden, he's up 700. I'm like, maybe another 100 in. And all of a sudden I'm chasing him and I'm telling him to pull out and his 7's gone. Now he's down 3. Now I'm down 1. And it's like, it just got crazy. So I'm like, what am I doing? I belong at the sports book. I don't belong here. These are not my people. So afterwards, after the show, we go to the sports book and we start making bets for the next day. And I'm a parlay man. Only other time I've been to Vegas, I hit a 10-teamer out of like 7 bets I made. I hit a 10-team parlay and just cashed in. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I'm doing parlays. I get a player prop parlay at the kiosk, which they don't often allow you to do, but somehow I made it happen. And I'm like, oh my God, it's like Aaron Neesmith for 4 rebounds. I forget who else I had. I had Quickly for the Knicks, 13 points, and I had Franz Wagner for 17 or more. And then I had PJ Washington for 20. It's a layup. LaMelo Ball's out, no big deal. I was like, this is cash. Everything's going smoothly. Everything hits. 11 minutes into the Hornets game, PJ Washington goes down, already had 8 points, rolled his ankle, doesn't return, squashes my parlay. I'm fucking pissed. Gosh, I had this. This one was ready-made. A couple of the others don't hit. I'm pissed. I'm leaving Vegas a loser. All of a sudden, I go home. I hit that comedy show I went to with Jay Moore. And I'm like, I had one more. I had my hockey bets tonight. And you know damn well, both on the other side of the screen and listening and at home or in your car, I had the Buffalo Sabres to kick the hell out of Philly. And boy, did they. And part of my 14 parlay won me almost $600. And I was like, I'm back on top, baby. Left Vegas a winner.
Oh man! Oh, that's so awesome! I'm so glad that the Sabres had some part in that. They usually don't provide much joy to people. The past decade or so. So I'm glad.
I forget who else was in. I knew the Bruins, the Sabres. I don't remember the third team, and then I had the Sharks plus 1.5. And I looked down, and I'm like, ooh! Oh, it was the Kings. Bruins, Sabres, Kings, Sharks plus 1.5, and I was like, this is gonna hit, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. No. Oh yeah. Anytime
hit it did, my friend.
I know. Yeah. It's almost like it's like a free trip when you come out like anything positive.
It's cool too because I got the ticket and I went to the Mirage because their kiosks, the MGM Sports kiosks, I think are the best. And I'm staying at the Mirage when I go back in May. So I'm just gonna walk in whistling, cash that ticket, away we go.
Nice, man. Well, congratulations, and. I'm glad it made a Sabres fan out of you. I'll make sure to send you some gear here pretty soon.
Let's go.
Absolutely. And back to the process of turning you into a big Bills fan. Let's get on. It's been a little bit of news in the past week, but we have to go back to the trivia from last episode. And if you can just get me one part of this, you will get extra credit. I don't know what that extra credit is, but the trivia for the past week was, what was the first touchdown in Bills playoff history in their franchise?
Okay. Thurman Thomas.
Thurman Thomas. Whoa, you're only like about 25 years off. But I'll give you the first. It'll be very hard. It was a 93-yard pass touchdown pass from Daryl LaMonica, who made his bones mainly as a Raider in later years, to the wonderfully named Albert Dubenian.
Damn. So you guys had some early success, earlier than I thought.
Yeah, pre-Super Bowl era, like in those 6 years before the Super Bowl. And it was in it was in our first playoff game, which was a divisional play-in game at the time, to what team?
What team would that have? Was it the Patriots?
Yes, not the New England Patriots.
The Boston Patriots. Yeah.
You'll be happy to know it was a 26-8 loss. That was our only touchdown of the game. The Boston Patriots steamrolled over us.
Was it the game played at Fenway Park?
Oh man, now you're making me look bad. I imagine it probably was.
If it was home for Boston, that's where it would have been, man. They played back then in Fenway,
nobody knew
what I understand.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine they became New England when they moved to Foxborough, whenever that was. Yeah,
I don't know. I'm a bad Patriots supporter.
Oh yeah,
as I've stated on previous pods, I'm like, it's where I'm from. It's cool. I root for him. I like the Brady thing, but I'm not a diehard.
I mean, but the thing is, I've seen you root for the Patriots though, and you go all out for it.
Oh yeah, but I was rooting for history. Brady, once he started doing it, I'm like, let's go. Let's get as many as we can.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that was in the 1963 season of the AFL playoffs. The Bills would go on to win the AFL championship the next 2 years, or right before it actually counted. When if they had won the AFL championship the next year, they would have played in Super Bowl I. And yeah, that's kind of the beginning of the Bills curse.
Right there. Bills curse. You mean to tell me you got your first playoff touchdown the year of my mother's birth?
1963, yes.
1963.
It's a very special year on many fronts.
There are no coincidences.
Absolutely. And a pretty silent week for the Bills, free agency-wise, much like a lot of the season. But we did make a very interesting signing. Safety from the Los Angeles Rams, Taylor Rapp, who I actually had on my list of safeties I would like to sign when I thought we were not going to re-sign Jordan Poyer. So I was figuring this guy could even just come in, step into the starting role if we lost Poyer. Now he's a very low cost backup for us. Second round draft pick out of University of Washington by the Rams in 2019. I follow the draft very well. I felt like this guy was drafted 2 years ago. That's just how quickly time is just flying by. Time is just like a vacuum right now. And do have to say, 9 career interceptions, which is commendable in a 4-year career. But one interesting thing, you may appreciate this as, you are quite the outdoorsman yourself. For fun, not anything official, he pretty much by himself 2 years ago during, lockdown, did a 125-mile, Ironman type thing just for himself. Included, bicycling, hiking, running, and swimming. Although only 0.0001 miles of those were swimming as he moved from one end of the jacuzzi to another. And he burned 10,000 calories.
Is that a lot?
Well, I mean, I consume about 10,000 calories a day.
And he burns them off.
Yeah, exactly. He burns them off for me. I'm like, go do a Taylor Rapp. Exactly.
That's crazy, man. Those Ironman competitions are just wild. I would love to do something like that, but my knees, you have to be an NFL peak physicality in order to do any of that shit.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, no, this guy, he's a physical specimen. I mean, obviously in the NFL, everybody is. But I mean, it's also just kind of crazy, and he definitely belongs on the Bills with that mentality. This wasn't any competition. He just decided to do this one day. Mm-hmm. During
4 years, right? What's he 25?
It sounds about right. Yeah, I think 2026. I do believe I saw 1996 as his year.
Is that what happens? Do they go 4 years for the NFL? Does everybody pretty much do 4 years?
Yeah. I mean, if you're drafted in the first round, you get the 5th year. The team gets the 5th year option.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant college. I was not specific on that. Does everybody pretty much do 4 years of college?
I believe he did. Yeah. It sounds right because he was the Pac-10 Defensive Freshman of the Year in 2016. So it makes sense. Like, let's see, 16, 17, 18. Oh, he was a junior because he was drafted in 19. 18 would have been his junior year. So he went out as a junior. And yeah, they'll even come out, second, third round if they're a junior. Sometimes even if they're a day 3 pick. It's, even get that tiny contract before, especially in football, you get injured your senior year. It's you're losing out on a lot of money. No, it's kind of exciting. It also adds to our what I think is an all-world defensive secondary now. We've got him backing up Poyer and Micah Hyde. Our cornerback situation is just, I don't think there's a better quintet in the NFL with Tre'Davious White, Kyer Elam, Christian Benford, who was a 6th round gem last year, Dane Jackson, and our slot corner, Taron Johnson. And when you have a defensive secondary like that, we've had issues, especially when Von Miller went out, pressuring the quarterback. Everything kind of went downhill then, and we had a lot of holes in our secondary with injuries last year. But that'll even strengthen our pass rush. As weak as many think it is, I think it's a little better than a lot of Bills fans. A lot of these negative Bills fans want to say, but still need to find that replacement for Tremaine Edmonds in the middle. They've done nothing to address that, but definitely like the direction the secondary's going. Especially with all of contenders in the AFC East. The Patriots. We need to squash down on Mac Jones. He's definitely ready to blow up. So
is he? He's ready to blow up. I don't know, man. I don't know. I like the other kid. What's that other kid's name?
Oh, Bailey Zapp.
Zap. That's the guy.
I know. Yeah, he actually did pretty well filling in. But like Mac Jones, I'm being a little facetious when I say blow up. I think he is a little limited, but Bills fans just love to make fun of this guy. Mainly it's because we went so many years with the Patriots having the quarterback that just owned us for 2 decades. So we were just trying to find anything. But I've seen Mac Jones be competitive. Obviously, he's never going to be Tom Brady. But
no, huge, impossible shoes to fill. And he seems like he's got some gumption to him. But you throw a mustache on that kid Zap, and I think it's go time. He grows a little facial hair, and it's going to get real.
Oh yeah. No, he came in and he's definitely, applying the heat to Jones. But no, I mean, I've always liked Jones. I like the way he went after Matt Patricia in the Bills game because Patricia just had like a horrible, game plan where
there isn't a single person in New England that doesn't want to go after Matt Patricia with a pitchfork and a bunch of flaming torches. Like that guy, I can't even imagine what the hell he was still doing in town. Everybody, even the casual fan was like, what is this guy doing?
Yeah, I know. It's, I felt he had he definitely had some cred before he went to the Lions, but then the Lions just pretty much exposed him as a guy who can never be a head coach in the NFL. But, not Brady, but Belichick, he's pretty loyal to a lot of these, assistants he has. Like McDaniels kept coming back to him. And
well, you know what they say about loyalty. We have friends very strongly loyalty.
It's pretty much everything.
Yeah, it's everything. It is.
And it's like you can't be 99% loyal to be just 100 all in or nothing. You're either with us or yes. If you're not 100% with me, you are 100% against me. It's that simple. No gray area.
So is Von Miller coming back? Is he with you guys still? Is he injured? What's happening with him?
Oh, yeah. It was I don't know if it was an exact ACL tear, but it took him about 2 weeks after his injury for them to finally be like, yeah, you're out for the year. So hopefully, come week 1, he'll be back. That's going to be a huge part of our defense. Obviously, the guy's surefire Hall of Famer. He's not lost a step. He's going to be 34 going into this year, which it sounds ancient in the NFL. Even I say it. I'm 43, and like even I wish I was one of those who was like, oh, you can still be competitive at that age. But no, I'm just like, oh, we've got to get rid of this guy. He's like turning 29 next year. Like, no, we're not signing. It's like just completely forgetting that half the coaches in the NFL are younger than me.
Whatever happened, you just have to tickle my interest on this, and I'm sure Bills fans don't want to hear about it, but tell me what the hell happened with Clowney. He was a big portion. Like when you guys signed him, right? Wasn't he drafted?
Oh, no.
Where the hell did he start? Who am I confusing him?
Oh, well, the Texans. There was the Texans he was drafted by. Then he kind of bounced around. Well, Clowney was one of those guys. He pretty much sat out his like junior year of college because he was just guaranteed to be the first overall pick. But yeah, no, we that draft we took Sammy Watkins, who kind of had the similar.
That was the Watkins draft. Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, Watkins was, whenever he played for us, he was great, but that was half the time. You know?
That makes more sense then, because my brain was just confused why the hell you gave up on him so quickly. But it's because you never had him in the first place. That makes sense.
No. And anytime he played, he was playing with like a fragile foot. There was like, seems like he'd come
Watkins?
in.
Watkins? Is that what you're talking about?
Watkins.
Yeah. And I meant Clowney, but yeah. No, Watkins was a disappointment.
Yeah. And Clowney, but no, Clowney, like, yeah, he's kind of fits that same mold. He's been rather effective when he's played. He just has never matched up to that. If he was like a third round pick, people would be like, oh man, yeah, he's had a solid career. But Jadeveon Clowney was supposed to just come in and become, Michael Strahan.
Yeah. Pretty much I knew the expectations were high for sure.
Oh yeah. Like pretty much like what JJ Watt became. That's what they were expecting Clowney to do. And you were expecting Watt, Clowney on one end, like game over. Like nobody was doing anything against the Houston Texans. And as history has shown, every team has done whatever they want against the Houston Texans for the past decade.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, is there a Watt in the league? Like I loved watching him play, and I know he retired. Is there who's the new Watt?
TJ Watt, his younger brother, won Defensive Player of the Year in 2021 for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he was fun to watch in the postseason last year, right? He had that.
Oh yeah, well they played in one game against the Chiefs, and he did have I think strip sack touchdown against Mahomes.
Yeah,
that kind of made it like, oh, look out for the Steelers, and then the Chiefs did what they did and beat them like it was like 41-20.
Do you have any love for the Steelers, or do you hate them too?
You know what? I definitely like them a lot more now that Roethlisberger's gone. Okay. I'm definitely a character guy, and I mean Roethlisberger was a great player, but yeah, just like everything about his character, just I even know a lot of Pittsburgh fans who are just like, yeah, we root for him because he's he wins games for us, but he was never even a good community guy. Love Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, me too. And I liked Cowher a lot too. I had a soft spot for them growing up when the Pats sucked. It was just like pick a team that you like watching at least for a win here and there, and that was mine.
Oh, absolutely. And I know a lot of great Steelers fans, too. My dad's girlfriend's actually a Steelers fan. No, she's not hardcore, but she comes from a very hardcore Steelers family.
Mm-hmm.
And, and my dad's kind of a secondary Steelers fan. He can be even a little fair weather. I think he was a bigger Steelers fan than the Bills when the Bills, were striving to 7-9, 8-8 every year in the mid tens, if you call them that. But no, now that Roethlisberger's gone, they're always competitive. They're always competitive, even with last year they were expected to do nothing. They were like one quarter away from making the playoffs last year, with alternating between Mitch Trubisky and a rookie quarterback. So I got a lot of respect for the franchise. Our good buddy John Varag is a big Steelers fan. They have a fun fan base. Don't wish them any specific harm, but I also don't wish them any specific success either,
Are the Pats your number one, just can't stand you guys team for Buffalo fans in general?
Maybe the younger ones. 100% for me, being somebody who remembers the 80s and 90s. It's Miami. My hatred for Miami has no limits.
Really?
The Patriots. The Patriots ever since like Brady went, I found a little more peace with the Patriots. Now that we're 6-1 versus them in the past 3 years, it's a little easier to be like, yeah, it's I can root for the Patriots when they play like the Titans. For some reason, after the Dolphins, I just hate the Tennessee Titans. A lot of Bills fans feel that way too. Yeah.
And where does the animosity for each of those teams come from? Because Miami never won anything in the 80s and 90s, did they?
Well, they were always our biggest rival during that time with Marino, but we mainly always won the division. One year during the Super Bowl era, when the Dolphins finished first in the division, we were 11-5 and they were 2, but they had the tiebreaker. We faced them in the AFC Championship in Miami and just absolutely destroyed them. So it was kind of like, we had our due there. And now they're starting to get good. And also I have a little bit more respect for Patriots fans because they seem like a little more genuine, even though I've talked to you about this. Back in the early 90s, I remember, being 7th, 8th grader, nobody I went to school with liked the Patriots. Everybody was like mainly started jumping on the Cowboys bandwagon then, especially since I was so vocal about the Bills. Everybody just hated me because I just like came into this like school that's like nobody knew me, and it was just like the Bills are going to their second Super Bowl, and they just nothing. Like they were just like, oh fuck that kid, we're just going to root for whoever they're going against. Like I think I actually turned the entire grade into Cowboys fans for 2 years, but then a lot of that changed when they drafted Drew Bledsoe. All of a sudden, Patriots jerseys started flocking the halls of the high school.
Oh, yeah.
It was, they made that playoff, I think, in his second year. And it was just everybody acted as if we've been here the whole time.
Yeah, that's the nature of the beast, I think, when you get your guy. And Gentleman Drew was a fan favorite for sure all throughout Massachusetts and New England.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I think they even had they had issues when he wasn't going to start over Brady, in the playoffs when Bledsoe was, coming back, even though, this second year, like 6th round pick Tom Brady seeing some success. They all thought like, oh yeah, he's just warming this team up for Drew. And
that's what we like about our man Zapp. Telling you, there's something to him.
Oh, absolutely. Drafted higher than Brady too.
Well, it doesn't take much.
Oh, yeah. And also, it's funny, back to Drew Bledsoe, that's when I really started to dislike the Patriots because we owned the Patriots up until Drew Bledsoe. And, we swept them his rookie year. And then all of a sudden, we were supposed to make the playoffs even in a down year after the 4 Super Bowls. And we jumped out to a 17-3 lead in week 16. That would have clinched a playoff spot for us. We went up 17-3 and it was like, oh, yeah, good old Patriots. And then Bledsoe and company ran up 38 unanswered points against us, just like completely demolished us. Remember, there was one like Sam Gash, I remember, had like a 30-something yard touchdown run against us, and he was a fullback. But then after Brady won the Super Bowl, we still hated Drew Bledsoe. Just out of the blue, we signed Drew Bledsoe. It was just like all of my hatred just completely dissipated. And I was like, we're finally going to win a Super Bowl with Drew Bledsoe. And yeah, that just didn't happen.
Now, how long was he there?
He was with us for 3 years, and he was solid. It was just, we never made the playoffs with him. I think one year he smashed like almost all of our season records, only for those to be smashed by Josh Allen in his 3rd year.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was like we had a lot of other issues. It was just we went and signed, my God, I feel like such a inadequate fan. I can't remember if we signed him or traded for him. No, I'm pretty sure we signed him because we didn't give up like a 1st round pick. We just signed him. It was like we kind of broke the bank with him. And he made us a more interesting team to watch. But we just, I don't think I think 9-7 was our best season with him.
Well, it's a winning one, if nothing else.
Exactly. Yeah, we missed the playoffs being 9-7, but it was fun. And then after he went to Dallas in 2005, I think as a backup. His like starting days were over, and that brought in like the J.P. Lossman, Trent Edwards era, which is completely forgettable.
Nothing you want to recall on a podcast, that's for sure.
Oh yes. However, I'm probably going to have an episode devoted strictly to them. Remember that one game Trent Edwards won? That was awesome.
That's some good trivia. You could get some good obscure trivia stumps out of those two, I'm sure.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Like which quarterback won our only game in a 5-week span in 2007? Because that's pretty much that was his Trent Edwards' high life. It's always a debate like who was worse, J.P. Lossman or Trent Edwards, and I think most people would pick Lossman. But hey,
you're an Edwards man.
I just barely. He was just a little more accurate, even though he was way more what we call Trentative in the pocket. There were times he'd go back into the pocket. It felt like you're watching like an 8th grader thrown in there, like facing a pass rush. He would literally like be shaking and just like throw it into the ground. And much of a far cry from our current quarterback, who should maybe be a little more nervous in those situations. He's like, oh, Aaron Donald's coming running at me. He's like, no, I'm gonna stiff arm him, see if that works.
You got to respect it. You really need that level of tenacity and just dumbassery.
Oh, absolutely. And it definitely goes a long way in today's game, especially when many of these players have that same mentality.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But in other news, Bills fans, I'm not too thrilled about this prospect, but DeAndre Hopkins has been considered on the trading block for a while. I don't think we need him. He would help, but I don't want to give up the capital for him. He's also been linked to the Patriots.
Is he a Texan or a Cardinal?
He's a Cardinal.
He's a Cardinal. Okay.
Yeah, and I think the Cardinals are just completely going in a different direction, trying to free up cap. Mm-hmm. And it's actually rumored now that there hasn't been any trade talk of him, of the Cardinals actually releasing him, which, I don't even know what money the Bills would use to sign DeAndre Hopkins, because I can't imagine he's going to take a severe pay cut. But yeah, would you have any desire for the Patriots to make a move for this guy?
It's one of those things, if they did it, it would just be such a kick in the dick, because you wanted them to do that with Brady there still. And part of the reason he left was because he just didn't have the receivers, and they wouldn't trade or spend for them. So it's like, now really, we're going to do that? I still think, and somebody just released a news article, I might have mentioned it the last time I was on, I'm like, I just have a feeling they're going to try and get Lamar Jackson. And that's the thing. I was looking for odds on that, and they weren't up. You couldn't find them anywhere. But now that it's kind of been reported, I'm curious if they have it and what they are, if there's any value in that kind of a bet, because something just inside me thinks Belichick loves this guy, and he's going to do something wild on his way out the door. He's going to do something. He's not just going to retire just kind of softly, the way he's approached the game, the way he's drafted. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to make a loud noise before he leaves. And Lamar Jackson would be a loud ass noise.
Oh God. And that's one thing that's like, personally, I just love Lamar Jackson. And my God, and that would actually be a good way for me to disdain to have more disdain for the Patriots now, after I softened on them a bit. Mm-hmm. And then it would just completely I don't want to face Lamar Jackson twice a year.
No, but he is an injury risk, big time. That much I know. I've seen him play, and if you're talking abandon with Allen, I don't know if you can multiply it quite by 2 with Jackson, but there's some reckless abandon. It's like Johnny Damon in center field. You're like, dude, what are you doing? Thank you, but what are you doing?
Oh yeah, no, it's he takes a lot of risks. Allen does too, but Allen's also just a huge guy. He's built like a 1970s offensive lineman.
He really is big. How tall is he? Is he 6'5"?
He's 6'5". He's like 245, and it's like it's a pretty solid 245. And it's nice to have. But I have a lot of respect for Jackson. I think everybody talks about his running. I've seen him like land some amazing passes.
Absolutely. No, he's a pleasure to watch. I do when I'm watching games and he's there. And I don't like the Ravens. I've never really cared for them. But it's a tough route for me. But I like him, and he's kind of the anti-Roethlisberger with what you're talking about. He seems like he does a lot for the community. He seems like he does a lot for the city. just real kind-hearted kid from all accounts that I've heard.
Oh, and he's an absolute class act on the field too. I always have something for players you see when they, run into like one of the sideline people, like like a sound guy or a cameraman. Most like players just like act as if they've just not completely injured, this person, who's completely unprepared for them. He like goes back and like helps them up. It's kind of rare. It's a small thing, and I understand why players don't really do it because they're in the mindset. But I don't know. It's just nice to see, and it's especially a guy of such high like magnitude of Lamar Jackson. So he's always been good, and I don't want that tainted by him going to New England.
I think it would be great, and I think I know I'd really enjoy it, and it would get me to kind of care again. It would get me to root. Mm-hmm. But just back to the original question: if DeAndre Hopkins landed in Patriots blue, I'm like, ugh. Mm-hmm. What are we doing now? Like, what does this mean? It's obviously a good thing. You don't want to not have a player that caliber, but it is Mac Jones. I mean, he better be given the green light to throw to him. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And, Belichick makes all these moves, just setting up his good friend, the future head coach of the New England Patriots, Matt Patricia, for as much success as he can have.
Do you think he starts the season with the Pats? Like I just can't see it. Everyone hates him.
I haven't even heard. Maybe I did hear that he was finally released. I haven't kept too much tabs.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. He could be. I just assume that he was because of his level of hatred, but I can't remember seeing an official report.
I don't think Belichick takes too much account into what like other people think. Like if he has a connection with Patricia, it's like he's staying.
But why? That's the thing. It's one of those things where, fine, I don't care if you don't care what other people think, but if somebody proves to be completely inept, that's not what I think. That's what is.
Yeah.
So you should care about what is.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I definitely agree. And I will definitely be looking into that. I have a feeling if he was like gone now, I would have heard it because, Bill's Mafia is always pretty much on top of, those sorts of things. But also, the last time we talked, we mentioned the Aaron Rodgers impending trade to the Jets. I think that was that was almost a month ago that we talked. Absolutely no new news on that front. And we're getting
other
close.
Than him saying he's confident he's going to start the season in a Jets uniform.
Oh yeah, but it's like pretty soon it's getting down to like the the draft where they're going to they'll need that capital to force a trade. The Jets have the 13th overall pick. If they wait after the draft, you're risking the Jets to have a worse pick give to the Packers, thinking that the Jets are not going to completely fuck up the next season with Rodgers, which they are capable of doing. The Jets have definitely. You can hype all that up. They could still go like 4-13 with Rodgers, but time's running out on that. And as many shows that we've done, like there's not much more to say. It's just we're still waiting for this to happen, and who knows if it will. It would not be the most surprising thing if this just completely fell through, knowing the Jets and knowing Rodgers.
Yeah, it could, but if that's the line on that. Again, if I'm sticking with gambling, which is really what I know most about with football now. It seems like the odds are he's going to be there. He'll find himself in New York.
Oh yeah, oh no, for sure. But yeah, so back to the Patriots. Last time we talked, you guys had signed Juju Smith-Schuster, fairly solid signing. And also more recently, you've signed a guy who has been a Bills killer for the past few years, the tight end from the Dolphins, Matt Gesicki, who I don't know how familiar you are with him, but it's a very absolutely solid signing.
So what happened to the two tight ends they got last year?
Jonnu Smith's already gone. He was a huge bust. And Hunter Henry's still sticking around. So it would be, Henry and Gesicki probably lining up. And actually, I'm going to have to go back. I can't keep up with everything. Hunter Henry might be gone. But I haven't
heard that he is. I kind of those headlines tend to reach me.
And I think I might be mistaking him with Hayden Hurst. Just that double H's, they always get me.
Alliteration's trouble.
Oh yeah, but this guy Gesicki's very athletic. He makes insane catches. I was happy to see that the Dolphins were probably going to be parting ways with him, and now no, it looks like he's just going to the Pats. So still have to deal with him twice a year.
Yeah, it looks like Hunter Henry's still with the Pats.
I came to realize I had him mistaken with Hayden Hurst. So
yeah,
but that's actually the story I'm sticking with, as opposed to me not being uninformed, because that's impossible.
No, certainly not.
Absolutely. But as we wrap up here, more news coming up in the NFL world. The schedule release is going to be in May, still a month away. I'm always look forward to that. This year, the Bills are playing in London, and don't know the opponent yet. If you know one thing about me, I haven't been to an NFL game in more than 16 years, and I just haven't missed it. I'm not a big football live fan. I like the closeness of watching it on TV. I like being able to run to the bathroom during a commercial, not have to deal with a line of drunk people and missing anything. I can just turn my volume way up to know exactly when to stop my business and run back to the TV. But, I do like to travel, and I've only spent 4 hours of my life in London. So, I think it would be kind of fun if I could make that like my foray back into the live NFL world, and then also see, do some sightseeing tours of a set of Downton Abbey and Fleabag and whatever else the country of England and the city of London has to offer.
That's it. Just those tours, those two.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, can't think of it. I've already seen Big Ben from about 7 blocks away. X off the list.
You know what was great? The first time I was in London, I did the Jack the Ripper tour.
Oh, that would be up my alley.
It's a blast.
Oh yeah, because you also get to see a part of London, because he did his work in a lot of the shadows of London.
Absolutely, dark deeds. Yeah, done in alleyways, old cobblestone kind of seedy areas.
Yeah, he wasn't like outside Buckingham Palace,
right,
stalking his victims. He was going into the nil by mouth areas of London. Have you ever seen that movie? I know you you tend to like the obscure movies like I do.
I'm at Nil by Mouth.
Yeah, directed by Gary Oldman.
No, I'm a with nail and eye guy for London.
Oh yes, that was fantastic. Oh, I loved that movie. I watched that in a screenwriting class. My screenwriting teacher, who was from England, he chose that as the quintessential script, and nobody in this class had ever heard of it. And he said, "Everybody go out and rent, not Nil by Mouth, with Nall and I." And I think I was the only one who did. Everybody else was it didn't come on the Netflix queue quick enough. And I was I went to Hollywood Video and found it.
Yeah, Saturday Matinee had a copy, and now it's mine.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Hollywood Video was very happy to see me in 2010. Thanks. It's the first time they heard it. Exactly. Yeah, they tried to force 5 boxes of candy on me at the counter, trying to keep them afloat. But we'll see. I'll probably stay home and watch the game from Amazon Prime at 9 a.m. America time. But I'm just keeping it as an option.
And what's the date?
Oh, well, that game will probably be in October. That's usually when they do the Europe, but the schedule will be released in May.
Okay. And why don't they have an announcement of an opponent for that? If you know the Bills are in it, why don't you know who the other team?
They might announce that opponent, and who knows? They may have a list of the teams that are going to play, because they're going to have probably 5 London games. They do that now, so it's probably a combination of other teams. I think Tampa Bay is one team, and so and they've been to London before. We have too, so that's definitely something I'll keep my eye on, but we'll see. I will definitely keep you and Bills Mafia abreast. And also coming up soon, we have the NFL draft starting April 27th. Have a lot to talk about there, but I did want to recall one story from the NFL draft in 2019. Remember, we took that road trip. It was actually day 3 of the draft on a Saturday. We took a road trip up to Boston, and we most of the morning, we were enjoying each other's company, shooting the shit. And then at around noon, I started, that's when I got on my phone, started following the draft. And I remember you were very fond. You wanted the Patriots to draft a tight end. The Bills had already drafted Dawson Knox the night before. And you were like, I don't know who that guy is. It's like, but man, I really want the Patriots to draft this guy, Kahale Warring, who was a tight end from San Diego State. I don't know if that rings a bell at all.
It does. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And and I was, I had kind of heard the name because we were definitely in the market for a tight end. And I was just kind of like, man, Matt Flynn's big on this tight end from San Diego State, Kahale Waring. I was like, he might be onto something. I better look out for him. And the Patriots did not draft him. He got drafted by the Texans, and I don't think he's bouncing around anymore. He did actually 2 years later spent time on the Bills practice squad. I was hoping by 2021, when you heard that you would be full on like Bills Mafia, not like no longer having to recruit you.
Just then. Yeah, Waring did it.
Waring, yes. But he, so in his career, 3 receptions, 35 yards, which is just a little bit less than Gronk's career records, but
slightly. It's just a lack of opportunity, really. I'm still holding on to my stock. Look at Eric Ebron's early years. Come on. Let's give Waring a go.
Oh, yeah. No, Ebron's still in his early years, looking to finally be what warrant a 9th overall pick for him. But yeah, getting the 2-minute warning from the producers. They just hit me up. Our good buddies, Court and Harry, just told me, he's like, dude, you got 2 minutes. Wrap this up. Do want to talk about, obviously, you are one of my favorite Celtics fans, one of 2. And it's a toss-up between you and Shibley.
No, you've already said it, man. That can't be edited out. I'm your favorite.
Absolutely, yes. Favorite Celtics fan. Just noticed 2 games back in the East, coming off a 2-game winning streak, which is awesome. They play the Sixers tomorrow, who, of course, are my, not dark horse, but picking them to represent the East via FanDuel in the NBA Finals, just because at the time they were a much more lucrative pick. But so how are you feeling about the Celtics going forward from here?
They're a Kelly Green flaming pile of fucking who knows what right now, and it's driving me nuts. And it's a huge issue. Joe Mazzulla, nice guy, decent coaching schemes. I think he's done things with the offense that have opened it up, but the defensive planning, the defensive rotation, the scheming, I was in on it early in the year. I was trusting in it, but it just goes to show how important Udoka was. And it's a shame he just couldn't have kept it in his pants, man, because wow, what a career that guy could have had, and what an extraordinary number of championships he potentially could have brought to the city of Boston. And he destroyed it. And I'm not saying they can't win, they can. I'm just saying their lack of consistency has been heartbreaking for a team with just such high expectations. So I'd chill back on them. I was in Vegas at the Cirque watching the Utah game on those giant sportsbook televisions right next to the LSU women's, which, by the way, credit where it's due. Holy hell. At the beginning of the LSU Virginia Tech game, I looked at my buddy because there was a bunch of people around us that were salivating for it to start with bets they'd made. And I said, could you imagine betting on this? I don't know. I just complete contempt prior to investigation. The game started, and I forgot all about the Celtics. There's something about, I'm sorry, girls NCAA Final Four basketball. I don't know if the tournament's like that all around, but my God, I was just sucked in. I was completely infatuated with it, and they just won. So congratulations to them, and that's huge. I hope the Celtics can follow in their footsteps, but I think
the swagger of those two stars for each team in the final. Reese, I didn't see the Final Four, but the swagger of like Angel Reese of LSU and Caitlin Clark of Iowa. I mean, man, that was up there with some of those like NBA rivalries like Booker and Doncic, the way they were going at each other. I don't know if you saw that.
It is. I didn't see the final, but when you're talking about the people with the hot hand and that are the stars of the team, those girls were going heavy and hard. LSU had a great paint game. I noticed that in Virginia Tech, and I'm like, yeah, Virginia Tech's outside shooting's really good.
Oh yeah, I think Virginia Tech was heavily favored. I think.
Yeah, whatever happened, I wished I would have bet, because one of my favorite humans in the world, Christine, who you know, is
absolutely
an LSU alum, and I absolutely bet on them. And I'm like,
I didn't know that. I knew she was a proud Texas girl, but never knew she was LSU alum.
LSU alum, yeah. I would have put the money on them, and I should have. And I also, because I was so excited about trying to do player props before I left Vegas, and I was on a real time crunch, I forgot to put in a bet for the Final Four games, and I would have obviously chosen the correct ones, because
nice.
Mama didn't raise no fool, and San Diego State and UConn were destined, man. This was destined to be it.
Oh yeah.
Once Arkansas was out, this was destiny.
Oh, absolutely, yes. We all thought that as soon as Arkansas was out. But yes, also pretty soon here, one of our good buddies, Justin Termini, is going to be joining us. Hopefully, you'll be able to join us on have a little three-way action here.
Wouldn't miss it for the world. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And maybe you could come in, because I'm going to edit out any part that Justin Termini, host of NBA show on Sirius Radio. I don't know the name of it because I don't listen, not because I don't have enough time. It's just a lack of interest. I'm going to edit out any insult he says to me. So we're going to need more than like a 3-minute show.
I was going to say, you're down to a 6-minute show, but that's fine.
Yeah. Excellent. And again, before we go, got a little Bills trivia for next week. Who is the all-time Bills leader in career interceptions? Going to ask you your thoughts of that after the show here. But so yes,
interceptions or receptions?
Interceptions. Receptions is a no-brainer. That should be Andre Reed, and it is. But
Thurman Thomas.
Thurman Thomas. Hey,
that's going to be my answer for everything. I liked him.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. He might be top 5. He just did everything. But Matt, thank you so much. This was such a fun show. This time has just flown by. Matthew Flynn, as always, such a pleasure, man. And I look forward to having you on. You're going to be your regular friend of the show. You're going to be on quite often, and pretty soon, yes, you'll be more knowledgeable about the Bills than I am.
Your listeners will love that, because then we can stop talking so much about the Patriots and Celtics.
Oh, exactly. I like to talk. I mean, I like the Celtics, but yes, I need to stop talking about the enemy so much and giving such high praise to Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi and Lamar Jackson, the future of the New England Patriots.
God willing.
Absolutely. But hey, Bills Mafia, thank you again for listening. Join us soon next week, and let's go Buffalo. Thanks again for listening to Buffalo Bills or Bust. Remember to like and subscribe, leave a comment, and let's go Buffalo. Buffalo Bills or Bust has been a Samurai Dinosaur production. Copyright 2023.